Hey guys, Dave Koenig from thesocialmedic.net. I wanted to do a video today on a story that happened back on October 6th. It received a lot of attention back then, but it crept back up on the social networks this weekend, generating more comments and internet rage. The story is about a paramedic's response to a high school football player down on the field. Here is a clip from a news report by KARK, Channel 4 in Arkansas, that illustrates the issue.
In this exclusive video, you can hear the outrage of the crowd as an EMT with Southern Paramedic Services walks to a collapsed student at the Clinton High School homecoming football game Friday night. One player, number 16, throwing his helmet in frustration, what seemed like a lack of urgency. The head coach, Chris Dufresne, holding his student back as he brings help to his player.
There were two basic categories of comments that this news report generated from other EMS providers. The first comment is that he should not have been walking out to the player empty-handed. To this point, I completely agree. Anytime you respond out to a player down on a field, you should have at the very least an event medical bag, or first in bag, or airway bag, or trauma kit, or whatever term you use for that sort of thing in your area. There's no excuse for walking out there empty-handed and woefully unprepared for whatever emergency is going on the field. The second comment is that he should have been running or responding with urgency. To the people who were saying this, I'm going to have to ask you to stop your madness. First and foremost, we don't just charge onto sports fields when players go down during a full contact sporting event. Most sports organizations have their own medical staff or athletic trainers, or physicians who will call for the EMS crew. They use a clear, visible hand signal. The most common used signal is the X. Although some organizations are still stuck on the whole fist in the air signal. In these situations, EMS responders work in conjunction with athletic medical staff. Now, due to cost, not all high school programs are going to be able to afford an athletic trainer, and in those organizations, the responsibility of this usually falls to the coach. It should be noted that the person walking next to the paramedic in the video is in fact the head coach of the team. Running into a scene is unsafe for both the responder and those around them. It increases the risk of injury to the provider and does not allow for a proper scene safety assessment. It increases responder adrenaline, which can result in rushed assessments, poor care decisions, and that will only feed into the general panic and fear that is set in on the patient and whatever layperson witnesses are gathered around. We need to walk onto scenes confidently to do a proper assessment, make the correct choices in the provision of care, and exude calmness to the patient and bystanders. Now, for those of you who accuse the paramedic of taking a lackadaisical walk or a Sunday stroll, the video actually proves otherwise. In the regular speed portion, I timed the paramedic is covering 10 yards in about 5 seconds. The average walking speed of a person is 3.2 miles per hour, but his walking speed is more about 4 miles per hour, which would be considered brisk, according to Wikipedia. As for this concept of a sense of urgency, that is something subjective to everyone individually. We traditionally convey this in our ambulances with our lights and sirens. The easiest way to do that while on foot is running, which we've already cited is unsafe. To suggest that people respond with a sense of urgency only feeds into the lies of EMS propaganda and helps foster a culture of unsafe habits. It encourages reckless behavior with a disregard to the safety of the responder, their partner, and others while suggesting that the ends justify the means of a response. We see the results of this mentality when ambulances run red lights and responders lose their lives. This whole respond with a sense of urgency is hype, and you shouldn't believe it. The boy who collapsed was Clinton Jr. Caleb Bowman. He collapsed after the second play of the third quarter while experiencing shortness of breath. Look, he's an overachiever. He was also playing the tuba during halftime. His mother reported that he had asthma when he was 3 but grew out of it. She happens to be a registered nurse who remained by his side, and she actually had no comment on the response. If anyone has a right to say anything, considering it was her son, it was her, and yet she chose not to comment, which is telling given her training as a medical professional. He was treated, discharged, and is reportedly in good health. The provider of the services, Southern Paramedic Services, said the paramedic responded appropriately and according to protocol. Personally, I hope they overhaul that protocol a little bit, start having them carry equipment on the initial response. There were also some comments about driving the ambulance onto the football field. No high school, collegiate, or professional organization is going to allow any vehicles onto their playing fields unless they're designed to do so, such as a golf cart. Ambulances are not designed for off-roading, would probably get stuck or, more likely, damage the field, making it unplayable. Here are 5 things that you should be doing during a sporting standby. Get there early and meet with the medical staff and coaches. Agree on the hand signal and where you will be positioned during play. Set up your stretcher with your longboard, collars, fixed splints, traction splints, oxygen bag, trauma bag, and portable suction. Position yourself with your stretcher and equipment on the sidelines midfield. You and your partner need to be present in that position while the game is in play. And finally, respond to any down player once you're signaled, quickly, purposefully, and with your equipment. Thanks so much for watching, guys, as I get this off my chest. But I'm interested in what you have to say and hearing your opinion. Do you think we should be running to calls? Should we drive ambulances onto playing fields? Do the ends justify the means of the response? Leave a comment on the video, hit me up on Twitter, or contact me through the site at thesocialmedic.net. Until next time, keep your heads on swivel, buckle up, and stay safe out there.